was not willing to make significant troop lifts until we made certain we knew what was the strategy, what was the commitment going in. In that regard, the President has made a decision, as he said. He wants to be the one to announce it to the American people, so I'll stand silent until then, until that point.
President Trump set to unveil a new strategy for Afghanistan in a nationally televised address tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's bring in retired Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff. He's Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney. Good to see you, General.
Good to see you, Liz.
So why would more troops and more money in Afghanistan work? I mean, we've been at this for 16 years. It's America's longest war. I mean, what do you say to the parents whose sons or daughters are going back to fight the Taliban or even ISIS there?
That's a very good question. I think that Secretary Mattis, probably General Kelly, and probably General McMaster advised the President that they thought for stability reasons they needed to reinforce. I suspect that they'll put in about 4,000 more troops. I was in agreement with the President when he was pushing back on this. But if we do this, Liz, then we flat must admit that Pakistan is the only reason that the Taliban have survived. And we need to tell the Pakistanis that we are going to start striking targets in Pakistan that are supporting the Taliban. And that's very important that they know that, because they cannot do anything without the support from Pakistan. Anything cross-border, I would destroy it with air power. I would change the rules of engagement. I'd be very aggressive on it. There's no point in American troops dying over there if we don't have a two-win strategy.
Your answer makes perfect sense, because to your point, President Trump's thinking has evolved. First, Citizen Trump said in 2013, we should get out. And then he said we should stay there to monitor nuclear-armed Pakistan. Do you think the President will say exactly what you just laid out there?
I don't think so. I may have been a little strong on it. I hope he does, because if he doesn't say that to Pakistan and they think they're going to continue their ISI, their intelligence service, supporting the Taliban, that is unacceptable to us. And so he must say that. If he doesn't, then I believe we have a flawed strategy. And I do not want him to have a flawed strategy.
Let's not forget Osama bin Laden was killed near a military base in Pakistan. Do you think President Trump will loosen up Obama's strict rules of engagement? I think you just mentioned that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the U.S. military can act if the Taliban threatens our soldiers or NATO, but they can't act if Afghan forces are basically attacked by Taliban. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think only in extreme cases the U.S. military can step in. Do you think the U.S. will, you think the President will lift or loosen up Obama's rules of engagement rules?
He already has, Liz. He already has. Now, the rules of engagement are secret. I don't know the specifics. I do know that he has already loosened them up. And he must loosen them up more and be more aggressive if he wants his strategy to succeed. And I know he does want his strategy to succeed.
All right, so switching gears, 10 sailors missing, 5 injured after the USS John McCain collided with an oil and chemical merchant ship 3 times its size. General, this is the 4th incident this year. What's going on?
We've got a problem in the Navy. I'm sorry to say that, and here I am an airman, but you know not to run into airplanes in the air and the sea. You know not to run into ships. I don't know what the details are. We'll find out. I think it's going to be like the Fitzgerald. We're not going to like the answer. And I think the Navy has got to look very hard at their particular challenges, particularly when they're in high-density areas of shipping. This should never have happened, Liz. North
Korea is still an issue, General, increasingly angry over the annual joint U.S.-South Korea military drills now underway. And you've heard this, General, North Korea warning of a merciless strike. North Korea, as you know, you've said this too, they see those drills as preparation for a U.S.-led invasion. Should we be concerned with what North Korea is saying now?
Yes, and that means we should not let them deploy a nuclear ICBM that can strike the United States or Guam. They are still in the development and testing areas. We must not let that happen, and we ought to start building up our forces to counter that. I mean, we can't walk away from this, Liz.